Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Langer at the Mic Live, another Habs post-game show here on Langer at the Mic Live. I might have started that a little bit early. False start on me. So if I cut out, welcome to this Habs post-game show here on Langer at the Mic Live. The Montreal Canadiens' second game in back-to-back nights and another loss in back-to-back nights. This time, again, 3-2 to the Winnipeg Jets. And a month ago, the Montreal Canadiens, their problem was that they could not win in overtime. But now the problem is that the Canadiens, they can't even get to overtime because they pay big time for their mistakes. They pay big time for their mistakes. Bad start in the first period again, where it was Josh Morrissey. Edmondson pinched at the blue line, and Josh Morrissey got open on a 3-on-2 going the other way for the Jets. And Toffoli, Edmondson weren't fast enough to get back on the back check. Eric Stahl played it well. Shea Weber even played it well, covering their guys. I think it was Appleton and Lowry on the play, I want to say, or Perreault, Matthew Perreault and Lowry on the play, I want to say. But Morrissey buried it on Jake Allen. And then you had Jeff Petrie. That was the third goal, at least. So the second goal was Victor Mete got outsized by Trevor Lewis on the second goal there in front. And really nice pass by Neil Pionk to Trevor Lewis, and 2-0 or 2-1 Jets at that point. We'll get to how it was 2-1 and not 2-0 in a bit. But then the third goal was Jeff Petrie, bad turnover in the neutral zone. He's been not great of late. That the Jeff Norris Petrie train has definitely slowed down a little bit. Definitely lost its steam of late. But yeah, he bad turnover in the neutral zone, got beat by Nikolai Ehlers with speed, and he just buried it on Jake Allen. So again, the Montreal Canadiens, the problem is they can't get to overtime because they're paying big time for their mistakes, but then they dominate teams like the Jets or the Leafs or the Oilers this past Monday, and they don't make other teams pay enough for their bad play. And case in point, like I said, another second period domination where the Montreal Canadiens tonight. Last night, the shots were 17-4 against the Leafs. Tonight in the second period, sorry, it's 4-2 the final score, by the way, 4-2 because of the empty netter. But in the second period, the shots on goal were 11-6 in favor of the Montreal Canadiens, 11-6. And then the Jets did outshoot the Habs 12-9. Wait, am I looking at that correctly? Yeah, 11-6. Yeah, 18-9, by the way, are the shots on goal in the first for the Habs. 11-6 were the shots on goal for the Habs in the second, but it feels like the Habs played a lot more in the offensive zone in the second than they did the first. But last night they couldn't score on Jack Campbell when they outshot the Leafs 17-4 in the second, and tonight it took a fluky goal off a stanchion, another fluky goal off a stanchion that eludes Connor Hellebuyck and the Jets just like a month ago. But that's what it took for the Habs to make the Jets pay for outshooting them 18-9 in the first period and 11-6 in the second period. And that's the problem right now. They're paying too much for their mistakes, and they're not making other teams pay enough for their mistakes. And another thing, again, the power play. Habs still have one goal since the COVID break. In, 5 games? Ottawa, Edmonton, twice, right? Ottawa twice. So they have one goal. It's Tyler Toffoli's one-timer against the Ottawa Senators on Saturday. It's their lone power play goal in the last 5 games since the COVID break. And that's a problem because the power play was bad early in the year, but then in comes Ducharme and Burrows, and now the power play is clicking at around 30% under Ducharme and Burrows. But now it's down to one goal in the last 5-6 games since the COVID break. Nice voice crack there. But here's the thing. So Connor Hellebuyck, we can't discredit Connor Hellebuyck because he was really, really good tonight. Connor Hellebuyck was really, really good. Was good tonight. But so was Jack Campbell yesterday, and so was Mike Smith on Monday, and so was Jacob Markstrom in 3 games against the Flames, except for the one that David Riddick played. And so was Matt Murray in a couple of games early in the year against the Ottawa Senators. So it's a recurring theme where the Montreal Canadiens are putting a crap ton of shots on net. Tonight they put 38 shots on goal tonight at Connor Hellebuyck, but they're just not scoring. They're not making teams pay for their mistakes and their bad play. So the answer right now is you either become better defensively at the trade deadline, you either become better defensively and clean up those mistakes that you're giving up on the rush, in the neutral zone, turnovers, getting out of your zone, whatever it is, like fix that, upgrade your defense, or And that costs resources, by the way, because unless you think Cale Fleury's the answer or Odo Leskinen or someone else from Laval, unless you think they're the answer, then you have to bring someone at the deadline, and that costs resources. Or Ben Sherratt, who won't be available probably till the end of the season. So either become better defensively and limit those mistakes, or you can call up a guy in your system who was a goal per game player in college, and that costs you nothing. Costs you $900,000 of cap space approximately, which the Habs have right now. So, look, I understand the logistics. Again, I said this yesterday. Cole Caulfield, I understand the logistics of calling him up right now aren't easy, and you want him to get a couple of games in Laval. But when Laval has a break of, I think, a couple of days, I'm not 100% sure what their schedule is, but I was informed that they do have a break coming up in their schedule. The Laval Rocket do, whereas the Habs, obviously, are playing 4 games a week from here on out till the end of the season. But at that time when the Laval Rocket have their break, Cole Caulfield has to be a Montreal Canadian. He has to be. I did this on Twitter. Again, follow me at Mike Langer on Twitter. But I played a little game tonight, and I did exaggerate a little bit to prove my point. I did exaggerate a little bit, and I'll admit that. But I counted about a good 5, 6, maybe even 7 instances where if Cole Caulfield was in the position of Jonathan Drouin, Alexander Romanov, Arturi Lehkonen, Philip Deneau, Paul Byron, Nick Suzuki, Thomas Tatar. If Cole Caulfield was the one with the puck on his stick in those situations, he would have scored at least, maybe not 6, 7 goals, but he would have scored at least once or twice in those situations. And I'll list them to you here. Second period, 3-on-2. Jonathan Drouin has it. I think it's a 3-on-2 with, it was Drouin, Romanov. I forget who the third guy was on the right wing there, but it was Drouin. It was a slow developing 3-on-2 also. Like, it was a slow developing 3-on-2 because there was time and space. And Drouin, rightfully so, slowed it down a little bit. And he passed it to Romanov, who was the third guy. But it was a really nice back check by the Jets player. And I don't think Romanov, he might have delayed a split second. But to me, if that's Cole Caulfield, that's off. Like, even though he's on his weak side, he catches, releases right away. That's on net right away, accurately. And he's not getting tied up. Okay, that was a bit of a more difficult play. But here's a play that stands out more to me. Arturi Lehkonen in the slot gets a perfect pass from, it must have been Paul Byron or Jake Evans because it's from the fourth line. So Arturi Lehkonen, perfect pass, right on his stick, right in the dead middle of the slot, puts his head up, waits, shoots, shot gets blocked. Cole Caulfield, if that's Cole Caulfield, on his stick, off his stick, even again on his weak side, it was on Lehkonen's left wing, so Caulfield being a right-handed shot, catches it, shoots it on net, and probably a goal. Another one here, Philip Deneau in the slot in the second period. Again, I forget exactly the whole context of the play, but Philip Deneau was in a perfect position in the slot in the second period, perfect shooting position. Philip Deneau played a heck of a game, by the way, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But again, going back to Cole Caulfield, puck lands on, or Philip Deneau is in a perfect position to shoot the puck in the slot, but he passes it. He opts to pass it. Cole Caulfield, if he's in that situation, rifles it, bar down. And wherever, even though Connor Hellebuyck, that's the trophy winning goaltender last year, Cole Caulfield buries it. That's definitely a goal by Cole Caulfield. Okay, this is a little bit of a tougher play here as well. You had Paul Byron in transition on the second period. In the second period, there was a bad turnover in the neutral zone by the Jets. Paul Byron, Jake Evans pick it up. It's a tight 2-on-1. And Paul Byron had to use his legs, had to use his speed to get into a decent shooting spot, but he was on his weak side. So this is where Cole Caulfield, if he's a right-handed shot on his right wing, Cole Caulfield is a left-handed shot on his right wing, his off wing. But that's where the Jets back checker was. He cut him off a little bit and forced Byron to take a shot from further out to Hellebuyck's blocker side. If that's Cole Caulfield on his strong side, maybe he's able to protect the puck a split second longer, even despite his size at 5'7", 165-ish pounds. Maybe he gets to protect the puck a little bit longer, snipes it, high glove, high blocker, wherever on Hellebuyck. That was a bit of a tougher play. But I would say the Lehkonen play, the Deneau play, those are money for Cole Caulfield. These are as well. These two plays here are also money for Cole Caulfield. So late third period, Habs pressing. The Habs hem the Jets in their zone on numerous occasions in that third period, especially late. So Nick Suzuki takes a pass from, I think it was Corey Perry. And Connor Hellebuyck, being a big goaltender in his reverse VH, on his knees, by the way. I guess that was a good play to use the reverse VH because it was kind of in tight and down low type of play. I can rant on my opinion on the goaltenders use of the reverse VH another time. But Nick Suzuki, also right-handed shot, one time's it on net, but doesn't lift it up enough. It gets Connor Hellebuyck. It was low blocker where Connor Hellebuyck had his blocker just on top of his pad in the reverse VH, hits him right in the blocker. Connor Hellebuyck, great job taking away the space that he using his size to take away the space of the net. But if that's Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki's position, that goes high blocker to the open side, which was wide open. Connor Hellebuyck's high blocker side, wide open. Cole Caulfield puts a high blocker. And last but not least, Kotkaniemi, this is 6-on-5 at this point. Habs pull the goalie. And by the way, the Habs, I'm pretty sure, are better 6-on-5 right now than they are 5-on-4 right now. But before the Jets scored the empty netter, it was the empty netter by Andrew Copp. Kotkaniemi fires a beautiful cross-seam pass to the point where Thomas Tatar wasn't even expecting it. But if that's Cole Caulfield on his one-time side with that much time and space on his off wing, on that left side of the ice as a right-handed shot, if that's going to Cole Caulfield, that's a one-timer right in the net. Just like Mike Camilleri back in the day, and just like Cole Caulfield has done at Wisconsin this past year and the year before. So those are six instances that I counted where Cole Caulfield, if he's in those positions to shoot, that's, I'd say at least 2 of those 6 plays are goals. If Cole Caulfield is what he think he is. But here's the thing, you won't know for sure until you call him up. You won't find out for sure until you call him up. So that's, again, just my case in point. I'm writing an article on this for a writing course that I'm taking, or part of my program at the College of Sports Media in Toronto. And that's something I'm writing about right now, is why the time is now for Cole Caulfield to get his call up to the Montreal Canadiens. And we see it game after game after game after game. And it was even the case when Brendan Gallagher was healthy. Brendan Gallagher happens to be injured right now, but Kotkaniemi is, and let's segue into that. Kotkaniemi, Danault, Tatar, fantastic, awesome, love it. Kotkaniemi, there was concern about him playing on the wing. Okay, it was rough for him the first period against the Leafs yesterday, but in the second and third periods yesterday against the Leafs and tonight against the Winnipeg Jets, Kotkaniemi, perfect on the wing. Matthew Cowan, how many games do you think Cole Caulfield gets with the Habs? Comment by Matt Cowan, also a guest on the show sometimes, and one of my great friends and fellow personal trainers. So how many games does he get? Well, I would say the same way that you have guys getting drafted at 18, like let's say top 10, top 15 picks getting drafted at 18 years old, and they get like those 10 games before teams can defer their first year of their entry-level contract before sending them back to juniors. I would like at the very least for Cole Caulfield to get something like that, where it's like 5-10 games during Brendan Gallagher's absence, 5 to 10 games. And if he goes 1 goal and -3 and struggles, and God forbid, just can't find his game, then okay, send him back to Laval. Let him figure it out in Laval. But if he goes in 10 games, like 4 goals and 2 assists, or 5 goals, 1 assist, well, you keep him up here, right? You keep him up here. And especially on the power play, if you put him on the power play, he gets a couple of goals off a one-timer, well, you better keep him up here. So I would say, to answer your question again, 5 to 10 games audition, and if he's no good, send him back to Laval. But again, you won't know for sure until you actually call him up. Now, again, back to Kotkaniemi, Danault, and Tatar. Another great game by them. Danault, 15 minutes. And also, you're wondering about what Kotkaniemi's ice time is. 14 minutes, 56. So, maybe it could have been a little bit more, but still pretty good. He had 4 shots on goal, plus 2 assists, and 4 hits. He was a beast along the boards. He was really good on the forecheck as usual. But I feel like one advantage of Kotkaniemi playing wing versus at center is that he has to play along the boards a lot more, where he can be that much more effective along the boards, or he's more directly in that, like, having to win battles along the boards versus when he's playing center. So that's very good for Kotkaniemi. And yeah, just again, like the defense, like, was weak in the first period, of course, on those goals. I didn't hate the way that Weber played tonight. Again, Weber takes a lot of criticism. I didn't really hate the way he played tonight. I don't really blame him on that first goal, even though he was maybe he was screening Jake Allen a little bit. I'd have to review that. But to me, it was more about Edmundson and Toffoli not be able to back check in time to cover Josh Morrissey, who was the third guy high on that 3-on-2. Another thing I really liked, which I'm pulling out here, is face-offs. The Montreal Canadiens, again, with Eric Staal and with Kotkaniemi taking a few face-offs, the Montreal Canadiens have much improved in the face-off circle, and that's really good. Eric Staal, again, good at face-offs, but I'd like to see a little bit more out of Eric Staal now that it's 3 games with the team, and you want to see a little bit more out of Eric Staal in terms of what he can do going forward. And if not, well, just put him down the lineup. Just play him somewhere, play him as a third or fourth line center, and again, give Kotkaniemi those center minutes. So Kotkaniemi, by the way, on faceoffs was 2 for 3. Only took 3 faceoffs, but was 2 for 3. So that means he should take more faceoffs because he's been really good at faceoffs lately. Philip Deneau on faceoffs tonight, he's been kind of struggling a little bit. Like there it is, 10 for 20. Philip Deneau on faceoffs tonight, which is pretty much the norm that he's been at this year. But years past, he's been at 53%, 54%. So Deneau, you'd like to see a little bit more out of him in the faceoff circle. Eric Staal continues to be good at faceoffs, 9 for 17. And Nick Suzuki, what was Nick Suzuki again on faceoffs? I'm pulling that up over here. He was 7 for 10. So it was a much improved game for Nick Suzuki in the faceoff circle. So the Habs being good at faceoffs, that's a great thing. The Deneau, Kotkaniemi, Tatar line being really good, that's a great thing. Kotkaniemi playing in the absence of Gallagher, that's a great thing. But the Habs having breakdowns defensively and having to pay the price for it, right? Pun, it may be or maybe not intended. But yeah, Habs breakdowns defensively and then putting up 35, 38, 40 shots a game and not scoring enough goals to win. That's another bad thing. And the power play, 1 goal in the last 5 games since the COVID break, or 6 games since the COVID break, whatever it was. That's another bad thing. A good thing though, penalty kill. The Habs had to kill 3 penalties by the Jets tonight. The Jets were 0 for 3, and the Habs managed to kill off the penalty by, was it Nick Suzuki? It took 2 penalties tonight? I think so. Yeah, or the late penalty by the Jets in the second period. They had to kill that off, and then they had to kill the Nick Suzuki penalty, the high stick late in the third period. So that was really good. That was encouraging. But yeah, those trade deadline is next week. I don't think this is a year where Marc Bergevin has to go all in. Like, don't necessarily trade that first round pick plus just yet. But if you can get a guy like the guy in St. Louis, Vince Dunn, the left-handed puck-moving defenseman, if you could get him away from the Blues, then, or a guy like that, maybe Goligoski, maybe, but his market might be a little bit higher with the Preds likely keeping Ekholm. If you could get a guy like that, left-handed puck-moving defenseman, number 4 guy, that'll help. That's what you should save your resources for. But Taylor Hall, nah. Mike Hoffman, no. I wouldn't trade for Mike Hoffman. I wouldn't trade for a forward. I would not trade for a forward when you have Cole Caulfield in your system for free. And if you're not in a position to go all in and win this year, maybe that'll be next year. Maybe that'll be the year after. But the Habs, they'll unless they lose 10 games in a row, they should make the playoffs. They should make that 4th and final playoff spot. But again, to do something in those playoffs, they need that extra defenseman, and they need Cole Caulfield, or they need that scoring touch in their lineup. And that's pretty much all we have here today on this Habs-Jets post-game show. As usual, if you enjoy my commentary, give me a big thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to my channel. Give me a follow at Mike Langer for Twitter, Instagram, and also TikTok. And as usual, thank you so much for tuning into this Langer at the Mic live Habs post-game show. And I look forward to seeing you again next time.